Hello guys, welcome to our channel. Today we will be installing an axle to a Honda Civic Sport. What will we be doing today?
So we're gonna be replacing the CV axle on this 2022 Honda Civic. So for this one, it's the same exact one. This axle specifically has only been driven 7K miles and it has a 6-month warranty. So you always want to make sure what you're getting out of it. You're gonna need a catch can because some fluid is gonna leak. You're gonna need two specifically. You're gonna be needing your 17 millimeter and then a 19 to take off the wheel. You're also gonna need a torque because you're gonna be torquing. You could torque your spindle nut, or what a lot of people do is they just impact it on. I don't want to do that. I just want to torque it to spec so it's a lot easier to take off. You're also going to need some type of hammering pin tool so you can hammer on the spindle nut because it has a little secure position on it. You're also going to need your big 36 millimeter spindle nut socket so you can take off the OEM that's on there. You're going to need a pry tool to take off the axle. It should be pretty easy to take off because I took it off already. A hammer, and then this is a mallet, so you can hammer it in. So let's get to it. So we're gonna start by jacking up the car. Now that we have the car jacked up, for me specifically, I did both sides because the car is lowered. So if I do jack up one side, it's gonna be hard to honestly just take it off. It's gonna make my job a lot harder. So now we're gonna take off the wheel. We're gonna take off the 3 17 millimeter bolts that are right here so that this can be freed and I'm able to take off the axle nut. What you can also do is grab some type of bungee cord to be able to tie it around so this doesn't move too much because it's not gonna have this support anymore. So now that you're here, you've taken off your 17 millimeter bolts. You're gonna grab your 36 and you're gonna take this off. Always a one-time use. So you're gonna grab your strap, tie it around somewhere up here, and then you're gonna lift it off the control arm, and you're gonna lift it out of the way. So let's go ahead and start taking this off. And now from here, since I've already taken off this axle, it's just gonna come straight off. Just take any type of rag that you have laying around, because in this situation, the reason we're replacing it is because the CV axle boot ripped and it's leaking. What you can do a lot of the times, what people do is take off the CV axle completely, take off the boot, but you need special tools for that, and a lot of the time that's very hard to do. So what we're gonna take down there is just rags. Take any type of pry bar that you have to be able to get the axle seat loose. Bring your flathead or screwdriver to be able to take off the cover of the oil pan. And then let me show you where it's leaking. Alright, so what you find here is the grease that leaked out. Literally the whole thing came out. That burning smell that we've been smelling is the heat of the metal or the exhaust or the grease touching the exhaust, and that smell stings really bad. So that's one part, and then let me also show you in here. So that's where it was smelling because it was touching the exhaust. So I'm gonna be cleaning this up so that smell is out of the way. So don't forget to get your catch can because you're gonna need it. Okay, it's coming out. This thing, as you can tell, is completely gone. Look how loose it is. So inside of this thing, there's like little balls, and they're supposed to interlock together. So all you're hearing now is just the metal. So yeah, this thing was completely gone. All the grease came out, as you can see. It was patched up before, and not gonna lie, we did patch it up because we saw the leak before, and we thought it would work, but it didn't. Right now, all of the fluid is coming out. That's why you want to have your catch can in place, because some fluid will come out. what you can do is just compare it with the other one just to make sure that they're comparable and equal. Just put it side to side. And they are. You want to make sure that these are also in there. These are, I guess you could say, a locking pin, so that when it's inside it doesn't come out. But this looks like a direct fit, so we're just gonna clean it up a little, and then we're gonna clean out that grease that's in there so we don't smell that burning smell again, and it'll be like brand new. So what I'm doing now, from the old fluid that's in there, I'm lubricating this part because it hasn't been driven on, so that when I put it in, it's a lot easier, and it's not just metal with metal. All right, we pretty much have this thing in. Right now what we're doing is just putting in the splines into the transmission and into the wheel bearing. So now we have the axle all the way in. The way that we were doing it is what I said before. We took this off out of the wheel bearing. We put it at a straight angle so that it goes all the way in. We put in the old nut, which is right here, and we didn't use the mallet because it was taking a while. So we just put in the old nut, we put it on the spindle, on the spindle strut, and then all we did was just hammer it on. We were checking to see if it was in, and then it was, because we saw that the leaking stopped. So that's the way that we put it in. There's other ways to do it. You could use a hammer or an impact hammer where it just hammers it in. That's one way to do it, but that's if you have the tool. If not, just do it the way we did it. Now what we're gonna do is pull this all the way in, put in the lower control arm onto the 3 17mm bolts, torque them down to 37 foot-pounds. I'll double check that right now. It's not 37, it's 76 foot-pounds, so I was way off. All right, so now that we have the 17mm bolts torqued, you're gonna torque your spindle nut to 136 foot-pounds. All right, so now that you have the 17mm bolts torqued to 76 foot-pounds and the spindle nut to 136 foot-pounds, you're gonna grab some type of hammering tool or something with a kind of a straight edge like this, so you can go ahead and put the little, I guess you say, the lock pin in there. So you're just gonna, where that little hole is at right there, you're gonna grab whatever and you're gonna hammer that in there. You have to have your little catch can in there because a little bit of fluid will come out. So now we gotta top it off, make sure it's top off correctly. All you gotta do is just put on your wheel.